All right, this last section might take a little bit more time, and I don't think it's the easiest section in the world, so make sure that you're very patient with it, okay, and that you put in full effort and you give yourself some patience when we're working through this. So the idea is we're going to be given an equation, and we're going to be trying to make a function table. And the way we make our function tables is that we make our x's and our y's right away. But we pick the x's, and we want to pick these x's. Now, these are not the only possible x's that you could pick, but these are the easiest. So if you show me this right there, okay, and then we find the y's, you can get a piece of candy. Okay? So the first thing we have to do is we're given this equation, and then each of these ordered pairs is a separate problem. And the question is the ordered pair on the line? Okay, so this is our line, and the question is this ordered pair on this line? And the easiest way to do it, we know that an ordered pair is x comma y. These are alphabetical. X comes before y in the alphabet, so x comes before y in an ordered pair. We plug them into the equation, and we try to solve. So the x goes right there, and the y goes right there. So I'm going to do this in a different color. So I get 3, that's the y, equals 2 times our x, which is 2, plus 1. And we see if this is true. So 3 equals 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1. So is this a true statement? No. So the ordered pair is not on the line. So now we try the next one. Once again, x and y. So I go -3 is equal to 2 times 4 plus 1. So I plugged in my x and my y. So now I just solve. I get 8 plus 1. That does not equal -3, so this one is also a no. It is not on the line. And finally, the last one, I go -6 is equal to 2 times 8 plus 1. So that's 16 plus 1. And that does not equal -6. So none of these are on the line. Okay? So now if we do the same type of thing for a new equation, once again, it's alphabetical, so it's x comma y, just like this. We're going to plug them into this equation and see if they're on the line. So it's 2 is equal to 4 times 0, because that's our x, minus 2. Well, 4 times 0, that's 0, minus 2. So this is a no. This is not on the line. So we could do 2 equals 4 times 1 minus 2. So that's 2 equals 4 minus 2. And this one is a true statement. So this ordered pair is on that line. Okay? I want you to try the bottom two on your own and see what you get. So for this one, I would get 10 equals 4 times 3 minus 2. So 10 equals 12 minus 2. And that is a true statement, so that ordered pair is on the line. And the last one, we got some negatives here. So -10 is equal to 4 times -2 minus 2. So that's -10 is equal to -8 minus 2. And that is true. So that is also on the line. Okay, so that's the first IXL. Now, the last one is we have to take that equation on the top and we have to make a graph and then a table. Or, sorry, table and then a graph. So the first thing we do is we take our table that we started with and we go -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. And what we're going to do is we're going to plug this x into this equation right there, and we're going to try to figure out what the y is going to be. So for this one right here, I go 2 times negative 2, because that's where my x is, minus 2. 2 times negative 2, that's negative 4. Negative 4 minus 2, that is negative 6, right there. Okay, so the next one, I do the same thing. I start over. So I go 2 times negative 1, because that's our x, minus 2. Oops. So I get negative 2 minus 2. That's negative 4. Next one, I take my 0, and I go 2 times 0 minus 2. So I get 0 minus 2, and that's equal to negative 2. Now I'm hoping that you can see a pattern developing here, that as we go from each of these, we're going up 2. And so if I've done it right, this pattern will continue just like that. And what's nice about these types of problems, if I have made this graph correctly, I will create a line. So if I go and I graph, I have made a linear equation. So now I put my little arrows on it, and I'm done. Okay? So I know these can be a little tricky, but I want you to try this one on your own, 3x minus 5, and see how it goes. So for this one, first step, we have to make our table, just like this. Negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and 2. If I plug in negative 2 here, I get 3 times negative 2 minus 5. That becomes negative 6 minus 5, which is negative 11. So then if I try negative 1, I go 3 times negative 1 minus 5. So it becomes negative 3 minus 5, which is negative 8. Then if I do 3 times 0 minus 5, I get 0 minus 5, which is negative 5. Pattern continues. This is negative 2, and this is positive 1. So now to graph it, the only problem is I go negative 2, negative 11. That actually ends up off the graph. So I'm going to skip that one. And I'm going to go 1, negative 8, 0, negative 5, 1, negative 2, and 2, positive 1. And now I'm going to graph it. I put my arrows on my graph. And there I go. Now this takes a lot of practice. This is not an easy topic by any stretch of the imagination. So make sure you're patient with yourself and you ask me questions when you need to, okay? Once you're done with this section, there is a quiz and a test.